to keep me in check. We'll see if they can do it, though, because I'm going to start with this. Two of the top quarterbacks in the draft. We already know Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in the draft, but I am convinced, absolutely convinced, that Zach Wilson from BYU is a better quarterback than Justin Fields from Ohio State. Now, here's why. Zach Wilson, only quarterback in college last year, 40 touchdowns, 5 turnovers or less. What else? Zach Wilson had more passing yards per game than Justin Fields. Zach Wilson had a better completion percentage than Justin Fields. Justin Fields also had a game with 3 turnovers against Indiana and 2 against Northwestern. That's a journalist school. Zach Wilson is abundantly and clearly better than Justin Fields. I could just tell y'all, but I'd rather show you as well. Can we roll the tape? Can we just let them see what Zach Wilson does? Just watch this very quickly. Quick play action, he gets pressure, he steps up, he doesn't try to run, 35 yards in the air, and he threw his receiver open. Now, yes, Justin Fields can do that, but he does that with future first-round picks at wide receiver. So again, I'm convinced Zach Wilson's better than Justin Fields, but Bucky Brooks, you tell me why I'm wrong.
You're wrong because you're so disrespectful to Justin Fields' game. But let's stay with Zach Wilson first. Like, that's great that he put up those great stats, but did they play a Power 5 team? I mean, so imagine if Justin Fields, who led the Ohio State Buckeyes not only to the Big Ten championship, but to the semifinals. Imagine if he played that schedule. And I know you talk about he has the luxury of playing with all those #1 picks on the perimeter. But just imagine if he only had accountants and lawyers chasing him as opposed to NFL players, what kind of numbers he would put up. Because remember, we're talking about a guy that is bigger, faster, and stronger than Zach Wilson with comparable arm talent. Oh, I believe Justin Fields is the deal. And he has always been the deal since he entered the league in high school.
Bucky, I take offense to that. If not for the NFL, I would have been a lawyer, sir, okay? So some lawyers can play some football. But let's talk about the Cleveland Browns, because I'm convinced they're going to win the AFC North. Don't talk to me about the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger is old, and he can never decide if he wants to play football or not play football. Don't talk to me about the Ravens. They've plateaued. Yes, they got to the playoffs, but we've seen them get to the playoffs before. Lamar Jackson in that offense, Greg Roman's limiting him. He's the offensive coordinator. He can't get right. And Joe Burrow and the Bengals are clearly at least 2 to 3 years away. You're telling me Kevin Stefanski plus Baker Mayfield, second year, no COVID-ridden offseason, plus Odell Beckham coming back from injury. It's abundantly clear the Browns are going to be the best team in the AFC North. But Joy, tell me, why am I wrong?
Well, I know it's a new segment, but I'm going to mess up the game already. I'm not going to tell you wrong. I actually agree with you. They were 11-5 last season. It'll be the second year in Stefanski's system for Baker. And I love that they were aggressive in the offseason. Who did they bring in? Takkarist McKinley, Troy Hill, Malik Jackson, signed Rashad Higgins, and my favorite, John Johnson III. So they improved where they needed to. They had the 22nd ranked pass defense last year. They addressed it, and they'll continue to get better. And all the things you mentioned about the AFC North are very important to keep in mind as well. So I'm messing the game up, but I agree with you.
You're a resident Pittsburgh Steeler fan. So let me ask you this. You got the Steelers second, or do you have the Ravens second? Give me your order in the AFC North.
So I think it'll be Browns, Ravens, Steelers, and then unfortunately it'll be another rough year for the Bengals, but they're still developing. I do love Joe Burrow, but yeah, I don't think this is the Steelers' year.
All right, let's wrap this up with the team I'm a fan of. How about those Philadelphia Eagles? See, because Jalen Hurts, he kicked out my guy Carson Wentz. And so now I'm convinced he only has 1 year to prove himself to the Eagles. Look, Jalen, I'm going to be real with you. Carson Wentz got paid $130 million. He had one bad year, and they were like, we good on you. So, Jalen Hurts, you only got 1 year, big dog. You were 1-3 last year in your 4 games as a starter, and you didn't really have great statistics. So in my eyes, 1 year prove-it deal, because make no mistake about it, the Eagles have potential to get 3 first-round picks for next year's draft. You better believe they're going to use those if you don't perform up to task. So, Bucky, you tell me, why am I wrong?
I mean, you're not wrong. He has to prove it this year. This is what it is. He's a second-round pick. He doesn't have any assurances that he's going to be the starter beyond next season. So he has to ball out. He balls out of control. He has an opportunity to continue to occupy the QB1 role. It reminds me a lot of what Dak Prescott had to do in Dallas when Tony Romo got hurt and came back. If he balls out the first part of the season, then the Eagles can envision him being the franchise quarterback going forward.
Now, look, Joy, a lot of pressure because Marcellus is going to be very disappointed in you if you do not answer this question properly. So tell me, why am I wrong?
Well, I don't want to disappoint Big Bro Marcellus, but you're not wrong. It is a one-year situation for Philadelphia. We know Philadelphia has major commitment issues, and that's not changing this offseason. And that's what it should be. He was a second-round pick. You didn't have great statistics, as you mentioned. And they do have those 2, possibly 3 first-round picks coming up next year. This is a very aggressive league. The patience for quarterbacks has dropped tremendously. I believe a little bit more in Jalen Hurts than you do, but this is a one-year situation for him.
Y'all are too nice, too nice. Somebody cue up the Kumbaya music so we can hold hands and start singing. Coming up, we got to talk about the guy the Eagles moved on from. That's Carson Wentz, because the Colts